This entire situation involving Shannon Sharpe evokes memories of a daytime television soap opera, and in all honesty, that's exactly what it resembles. It has the same unpredictability and ever-changing storylines as something like The Young and the Restless, where developments occur on a nearly daily basis, and every day you're tuning in feels like you're watching a brand new episode unfold, with events continuously unraveling further and further. Just last week, he appeared to be on the verge of signing a lucrative deal worth $100,000. But fast forward to this week, and he's being publicly called out by Gabriella Zuniga regarding a series of disturbing choking accusations, adding fuel to the fire. His former romantic partner Michelle appeared on Tasha K's platform and revealed that the final time she encountered Shannon Sharpe, he allegedly used force during their interaction. Let's take a step back. But oh, the internet is incredibly efficient when it comes to holding on to digital receipts.
What's this? Huh? What's this?
As many people have begun to note, Shannon Sharpe appears to be suffering from a newly coined affliction referred to as SAS, short for self-induced stupidity, and although he's currently facing a whirlwind of controversies, he stands as the primary individual responsible for orchestrating the entirety of this chaos. Much of this ongoing public fallout began during interactions on Nightcap with Chad Johnson, also known as Ocho. Now, let's examine Nightcap. Typically, Chad plays the role of the co-host and refrains from delving deeply into personal escapades involving intimacy or relationships. He exercises a certain level of discretion. Interestingly, many people underestimate Ocho's intellect, perceiving him to be less astute than he truly is. However, he is in fact quite savvy. He often steps back, allowing Shannon to occupy the position of the more impulsive speaker, which works because Shannon is the more high-profile figure, a Hall of Fame NFL athlete, a former championship winner, and someone pulling in massive revenue through social media ventures. And Shannon's ego? It's substantial. That very ego is often what leads him into situations that could have, and should have, been easily avoided. For those of you who recall the Megan Thee Stallion commentary,
it supersedes anything that you're
Ocho,
saying.
I know she.
So
I
I
mean, good.
think are you scared?
No, but hey, I understand, Ocho. My grandfather used to say, boy, they can look down longer than you can look up. They look up longer than you can look down. You know what I'm saying, Ocho? But hey,
yes, sir.
I have a stretched out like a quarter to three. You know what I mean, Ocho? Don't play with Ocho.
Then there was a situation with the real Bree Sky. And you know what's so bad about that one? Yeah, it didn't even happen. Like, he was lying the whole entire time because, academics confirmed that the lady doesn't even know Shannon Sharpe. He was pretending to clap her cheeks and he doesn't even know her.
Shannon Sharpe, on his own program, once openly admitted to having been romantically involved with a woman who turned out to be an OnlyFans model, and claimed he had no idea about her profession until she showed him how much income she was generating. Once informed, he apparently encouraged her to continue with her work, viewing it as a viable method of increasing their overall household revenue. It's bewildering, really. Here's a 56-year-old man, a Hall of Famer, someone rumored to be in talks for a $100 million contract, choosing to surround himself with women who are either white or ethnically ambiguous Hispanic models from OnlyFans. It's an odd look for someone who, ostensibly, has so much to protect and so much to lose. When the allegations from Gabriella Zuniga surfaced, Shannon dismissed them as a blatant extortion attempt, and one could argue that it does bear the hallmarks of such a scheme, and yet
a lot of y'all missing the whole point with this Shannon Sharpe situation. Look, it's not really about if she's wrong, if she's trying to beat him out of some money or not, if he's guilty or not. I mean, I hate to see him in this situation, but that's not the point. The point is, why did he put himself in that position? See, we got to be smarter. See, a lot of people pointing the finger at her saying she tricking off, she wrong, she did. Man, look, he shouldn't have never been in that situation anyway. I mean, come on, 19 years old, 56. What do you guys have in common besides sex? So you just gonna continue to spend all this money tricking off with females who on Instagram or OnlyFans and put yourself in a position to be caught up like that. It's a lot of brothers out here like that with a lot of money, I understand, you know, you can get caught up. There's a lot of great looking females out here. But when you get older, you're supposed to mature through life lessons.
Important lessons can be gleaned here, and credit should be given where due. First and foremost, Shannon Sharpe, at this stage in his life and career, absolutely should have been aware of the recklessness in which he was engaging. This is not anyone else's doing, not the model's fault, not society's fault. This is squarely his responsibility. He willingly placed himself in a compromising position, one that could jeopardize everything. That's why reportedly, he even entertained the notion of offering $10 million, and there's actually a reasonable explanation for that.
$1 million.
First, we have to talk about what a settlement means, just because it's been so unclear, where people assume when you make a settlement offer, that means that you're automatically guilty or that you've done the underlying action. Actually, it's a math equation, believe it or not. When you have a lawsuit that is pending, you speak to your lawyers and they talk to you about the probability. So if he's being sued for $50 million, stay with me here, Dan, and the lawyer says, Shannon, there's a 10% chance of this happening, of the victory against you, of you losing. 10% of 50 million is $5 million bucks. That means the value of the lawsuit is $5 million bucks. But the legal fees are going to be $8 million, no matter what. If you have no liability or if you're found liable for 50 million, you're going to pay me 8 million. That's a total of $13 million. That's when you go to the other side and you say, I'll give you 10. That doesn't mean I did it. Doesn't mean I didn't do it. It's called a nuisance settlement amount, and it's discovered through a simple math equation based on probability.
A legal expert explained that someone like Shannon Sharpe might be willing to offer a payment as substantial as $10 million simply because the legal fees, reputational damage, and emotional toll of fighting the case publicly could potentially outweigh the settlement amount. That doesn't necessarily imply guilt. Many individuals pay to resolve issues for the sake of expediency or privacy. But what it does indicate is poor judgment, because here's the uncomfortable truth: even if Shannon Sharpe is innocent of the actual accusations levied against him, he is undeniably guilty of behaving irresponsibly, given his age, experience, and public platform. At this point in life, he should not be operating as if he were an inexperienced young man. And that's precisely the sort of miscalculation he can't talk his way out of. Sometimes, we are innocent of the allegations, yet fully culpable for putting ourselves in scenarios where allegations become inevitable. Wealth and status demand discretion. You see, individuals like Jay-Z or Beyoncé, they understand this. That's why you never catch them slipping. You don't see them mingling in spaces or with people that could potentially cause them harm. They move cautiously, and intentionally. Even when Jay-Z was falsely accused by Tony Busby, that matter was extinguished quickly because he hadn't left himself open to vulnerability. Shannon Sharpe, unfortunately, is not afforded that same advantage. And when you're wealthy and maintain repeated interactions with individuals in the adult content space, it becomes a habitual risk. This isn't the first time he's spoken about adult film performers or adult entertainers. He has openly referenced them multiple times on his show, and now, those statements can be weaponized against him, not because they prove abuse, but because they may demonstrate a behavioral pattern. And here's something else worth pondering: what if other women from his past, those he's begin to step forward, sharing similar stories? It could easily mirror what occurred with Deshaun Watson or Bill Cosby, where the sheer volume of claims made legal defense both financially and publicly unsustainable. At that point, the only viable option becomes a string of out-of-court settlements. So what are your thoughts? It's your guy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. I genuinely appreciate everything you all do. Hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and as always, we're out.